Welcome, the rare gems. The strongest souls are forged in fire, unshaken, unbroken, and unapologetically themselves. Let's be honest, being a Sigma female isn't for the faint of heart. You're not everyone's cup of tea, and that's exactly where your power lies. While society tells women to fit in, smile more, and play nice, you stand apart. You walk your own path, and that drives people crazy. Why? Because you're proof that a woman can be strong without needing anyone's permission. But here's the thing. When you refuse to be controlled, when you refuse to bow to what's expected, people won't celebrate you. They'll resent you. Society doesn't hate Sigma females because they're weak or lost. It hates them because they're untouchable. They challenge the lies, the facades, and the shallow expectations we've all been fed. This video isn't here to soften the truth or sugarcoat your experience. It's here to remind you why you're hated and why that's actually a badge of honor. It's here to celebrate the parts of you that others fear, your independence, your honesty, and your refusal to settle for less. So if you've ever felt misunderstood, criticized, or judged for simply being you, watch this. Not to fit in, but to embrace why you never will. Because society doesn't hate Sigma females for who they are, it hates them for what they reveal. Let's dive in my favorite people. Number 1. They don't idolize men or compete with women. Sigma females live in a way that throws off everything society expects. They don't spend their energy trying to impress men, nor do they waste their time sizing up other women as competition. They've rejected the outdated idea that a woman's worth lies in being chosen, praised, or placed above others. Society feeds women a toxic script. Be desirable to men, compete for their attention, and win against other women. Sigma females don't just step away from this game, they burn the script entirely, and that terrifies people. When a woman doesn't idolize men, it strips away a key illusion society runs on, that women must depend on men to feel validated. Sigma females don't need to be admired, chosen, or loved to recognize their own value. They move with a sense of self-assurance that's rare and unshakable, and that confidence feels like rebellion in a world that tells women to wait for someone else to crown them worthy. At the same time, they don't tear other women down to climb higher. They aren't trying to win by being better, prettier, or more likable. To a Sigma female, competition is pointless. She's too busy improving herself, building her life, and pursuing her own goals. This neutrality throws people off because it reveals how unnecessary rivalry actually is. It makes society's obsession with pitting women against each other look childish and shallow. Sigma females refuse to play small for men or fight for approval among women. Their quiet, untouchable nature shatters the rules everyone else is following. And when you can't categorize or control someone, you fear them. That's why society doesn't know what to do with Sigma females, because they're impossible to box in. Number 2. They expose hidden power struggles without saying a word. A Sigma female doesn't need to speak to shift the energy in a room. Her presence alone is enough to unravel unspoken power struggles, hidden insecurities, and manipulation. Why? Because she isn't performing for anyone. She doesn't chase approval, doesn't play into social games, and doesn't bow to anyone's ego. That calm, detached energy acts like a mirror, reflecting exactly what others are projecting. And here's the unsettling truth. Most people aren't ready to see themselves that clearly. In a world where everyone's trying to dominate or control a narrative, a Sigma female's refusal to engage leaves people exposed. Manipulators quickly realize their tactics don't work on her. The loud attention seekers become quieter in her presence because they sense she isn't impressed. Insecure individuals start to squirm because her lack of performance highlights how much they rely on theirs. She doesn't do anything to strip people bare. She simply exists as her unfiltered, grounded self. This is what society hates most about Sigma females. They expose things people would rather keep hidden: false confidence, ulterior motives, and the quiet desperation for validation. People expect women to be easily swayed, emotionally manipulated, or eager to fit in, but a Sigma female flips that script without even trying. Her silence is louder than words, and her stillness carries an intensity most can't match. This is power, pure, quiet and untouchable. It's not aggressive, flashy, or loud. It simply is, and that unnerves those who live on pretense. A Sigma female doesn't need to call out anyone's flaws. She lets them reveal themselves. And when people feel seen in ways they weren't prepared for, they respond with fear, resentment, and often hate. Number 3, they're too honest in a world that lives on lies. Sigma females are the kind of people who tell the truth, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. In a world where everyone is obsessed with appearances and fake smiles, their blunt honesty is like a slap of cold water. They don't play along with society's game of niceties and surface-level politeness, and that makes people deeply uncomfortable. Why? Because it forces them to face the lies they've wrapped themselves in. Most people prefer the comfort of their own facades, pretending to be happier, more successful, or more likable than they really are. They tiptoe around truths to avoid discomfort, choosing shallow harmony over real connection. But a Sigma female doesn't do fake. She'll say what others are thinking but are too afraid to admit. She'll call out hypocrisy when she sees it, whether it's in someone's words, behavior, or intentions. And while her honesty is never cruel, it's raw, unapologetic, and often hits a nerve. This kind of bluntness makes people defensive. It pulls back the curtain on the games they're playing, the lies they tell themselves, and the masks they wear for approval. Instead of appreciating the honesty, they label Sigma females as too much or rude to deflect from their own discomfort. But the truth is, people hate Sigma females not because they're wrong, but because they're right. A Sigma female doesn't sugarcoat truths to make others feel better. She believes honesty, even when it stings, is the only way to grow. Society, however, runs on pretenses, and when someone refuses to play along, it shines an unflattering light on the hypocrisy that holds it together. It's easier to hate the truth-teller than to face the truth itself. Number 4, they refuse to prioritize appearance over substance. Sigma females refuse to play by society's shallow rules, where a woman's value is often reduced to how she looks or how easy she is to tolerate. While the world applauds women who are pretty, quiet, and agreeable, Sigma females couldn't care less. They prioritize substance, intelligence, purpose, and depth over superficial perfection, and that disrupts everything society expects from them. This refusal to conform creates discomfort. It's not because Sigma females reject femininity, but because they refuse to let appearances define them. They don't waste their energy chasing trends, people's approval, or meeting standards that do nothing to nurture who they really are. For those who are used to women being pleasing and easy to mold, a Sigma female feels like a rebellion. She's not trying to fit the role society has prepared for her. She's too busy living out her own story. What makes this even more intimidating is that her confidence doesn't come from validation. It comes from within. Sigma females don't rely on compliments or attention to feel worthy, which strips away society's power over them. They challenge the idea that a woman's worth lies in her looks or her ability to remain quiet and likable. In doing so, they remind everyone how hollow these standards really are. For people who've built their lives on shallow ideals, a Sigma female is a direct threat. She shows up with depth, intelligence, and an unshakable sense of purpose that no amount of surface-level beauty can compete with. It infuriates those who prefer women to play small and quiet because it proves that substance will always outshine appearances. And when someone disrupts society's comfort zone that boldly, resentment is never far behind. Number 5, they aren't afraid to say no without apology. Sigma females have perfected the art of saying no, and they say it with absolute certainty. Unlike the women who feel pressured to justify, explain, or soften their boundaries, Sigma females speak the word clearly without guilt or apologies. Society isn't accustomed to women standing firm in their decisions, unafraid of the discomfort their boundaries may cause. A woman who refuses to bend or conform shakes the very foundation of cultural expectations. Saying no without hesitation challenges the notion that women should be accommodating, easygoing, and endlessly accommodating. It disrupts the narrative that a woman's worth is tied to her ability to please or sacrifice for others. A Sigma female's refusal to comply forces people to confront their own assumptions about how they should be treated, or, More importantly, how they've been conditioned to expect certain behavior from women. For many, saying no with such confidence feels threatening because it removes the control they once had over a situation. People expect women to navigate situations delicately, often giving way to compromise or manipulation. When a Sigma female stands her ground without giving space for guilt or persuasion, it feels destabilizing. They aren't interested in the games that revolve around pleasing others at their expense. This unapologetic assertiveness isn't about being rude or confrontational. It's about setting clear, unwavering boundaries. Sigma females understand that their peace, time, and well-being are not up for negotiation. And when they refuse to allow others to overstep, it forces everyone around them to respect the space they've claimed. For those accustomed to walking over boundaries or manipulating situations, the Sigma female's firm no is a powerful reminder that some things can't be controlled, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. A heartfelt thank you to you, rare gems, for being a cherished part of this community. Your encouragement and support inspire me to keep producing content that matters. I deeply appreciate you. Number 6. They break society's illusion that women must be loved to be powerful. Society has long conditioned women to believe that their power is directly tied to being liked, adored, or loved. From social media likes to the praise of others, women are often taught that their worth is measured by how much they are accepted and celebrated. But Sigma females shatter that illusion. They prove that you can be respected, powerful, and fulfilled without the constant need for society's approval. The truth is, likability has become a false barometer for success, one that keeps women in a cycle of pleasing others, bending to expectations, and sacrificing their authenticity. Sigma females refuse to play along with this narrative. They understand that their strength isn't found in being liked, but in their self-assuredness, independence, and unwavering confidence. Their power comes from within, not from external validation. Breaking free from this illusion is revolutionary. It challenges the deeply ingrained belief that women must be universally loved to be worthy. Sigma females show that respect is earned through authenticity, resilience, and the ability to stand firm in who they are, regardless of how others perceive them. This disruption of the status quo unsettles those who benefit from women's dependence on external approval. They fear losing control over how women are perceived, because without the desire for constant validation, women become unstoppable forces. Sigma females remind us that true power is not dependent on the whims of society. It's rooted in self-awareness and the courage to live authentically, even if that means standing alone. Number 7. They refuse to over-explain their decisions. Sigma females possess a quiet confidence that drives them to make decisions without the need for extensive explanations or justifications. In a world where transparency is often weaponized to gain control, their refusal to overshare or over-explain frustrates those who rely on manipulation to sway others' choices. For many, the ability to dissect someone's reasoning and use it against them is a form of power. They manipulate narratives, twist perceptions, and demand justifications to create doubt and maintain control. However, Sigma females refuse to play into this dynamic. Their decisiveness stands firm, untouched by the need to explain themselves. This silent strength is unsettling to those who thrive on influencing others through emotional manipulation or constant questioning. Without a detailed justification, they're left without a weapon to wield, no gaps to exploit, no words to distort. Sigma females are self-assured in their choices, and that confidence destabilizes those who rely on confusion and vulnerability. Moreover, Sigma females recognize that not all decisions require validation. Some paths are meant to be walked alone, where explanations serve no purpose other than to dilute clarity and purpose. By maintaining a resolute silence, they preserve their power, ensuring that their intentions remain clear and unassailable. In a society obsessed with control through transparency, Sigma females are a force to be reckoned with, because their strength lies not in their ability to justify, but in their refusal to be manipulated. Number 8. They break generational chains. Sigma females carry the weight of breaking generational chains. They refuse to be bound by toxic family dynamics, outdated traditions, or cultural expectations that no longer serve them. This conscious choice to distance themselves from burdens passed down through generations creates friction, disrupting the cycle of conformity and emotional entanglement. In many families or cultures, certain roles are passed down, whether it's a pattern of sacrifice, compliance, or submission. Sigma females see these roles for what they are: outdated narratives designed to keep women in positions of subservience or emotional labor. They refuse to carry the burdens of their ancestors, choosing instead to create their own paths, driven by authenticity and personal growth. This break from tradition is uncomfortable for those who cling to the familiar. They expect compliance, loyalty, and the continuation of generational expectations, viewing any deviation as a betrayal of family values. But Sigma females reject this notion, understanding that evolution often demands upheaval. By choosing their own paths, they challenge the status quo and force their families to confront uncomfortable truths about legacy and responsibility. Moreover, breaking free from these chains doesn't come without consequences. It often means facing criticism, isolation, or disapproval from those invested in maintaining the established order. Yet Sigma females understand that personal freedom is worth the cost. They walk away from toxicity with clarity, refusing to carry the burdens that no longer serve them. Their refusal to conform is an act of rebellion that reshapes not only their own destiny, but that of future generations. Number 9. They live by their own morality. Sigma females are guided by a moral compass shaped not by societal expectations, but by their own beliefs and values. Unlike those who conform to rigid, traditional norms, they create a unique code of ethics rooted in authenticity and self-awareness. This deviation from societal standards often sparks conflict because they refuse to compromise their principles for the sake of acceptance or approval. In a world that thrives on conformity, Sigma females are a disruption. Their values challenge the status quo, whether it's rejecting superficial judgments, questioning authority, or standing up against injustice. They see beyond the surface, understanding that morality isn't about fitting into a mold, but about living in alignment with their true selves. This self-defined morality can be unsettling to those who rely on uniformity to maintain control. Traditional power structures demand obedience, but Sigma females refuse to adhere to expectations designed to limit their freedom. They question what's accepted and push boundaries, forcing others to confront their own biases and narrow-minded views. Conflict often arises because their sense of right and wrong doesn't easily conform to societal expectations. They challenge double standards, expose hypocrisy, and demand accountability. And when they do, they're met with resistance, people who feel threatened by a woman unwilling to follow the crowd. However, it's through this conflict that Sigma females find their strength. Their moral clarity serves as a guiding light, illuminating paths that others may fear to tread. They understand that standing firm in their values requires courage, but it's a path worth walking. Because in the end, true power lies in living a life aligned with authenticity, even when the world resists. Number 10. They uncover hidden lies and hypocrisy. Sigma females possess an uncanny ability to see through the facades, revealing the lies and hypocrisy that others rely on to maintain their false realities. Their perception is razor-sharp, cutting through layers of deception with ease. This ability to unmask truth disturbs those who have built their lives around illusion, comforted by the narratives they've created to avoid facing reality. For those living in denial, Sigma females are a threat. They refuse to play along with shallow truths or performative acts of integrity. Instead, they call out what's wrong, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. This unsettling honesty disrupts the fragile sense of control many people rely on to feel secure. Deception thrives in ambiguity and half-truths, and Sigma females don't allow that to exist within their space. Their refusal to enable lies or turn a blind eye exposes uncomfortable realities. Whether it's personal manipulation, societal double standards, or hypocrisy in relationships and institutions, Sigma females don't shy away from shining a light on the dark corners of deceit. This unwavering commitment to truth challenges those who benefit from living within illusions, making them deeply uncomfortable. In a world that values maintaining harmony over justice, their disruptive presence forces people to confront uncomfortable truths. They're not interested in keeping the peace at the cost of authenticity. Instead, they prioritize clarity and accountability, even when it means standing alone. And in doing so, they become the enemy of falsehood, laying bare the lies that others prefer to ignore. Sigma females aren't meant to be easily understood or controlled. They challenge the status quo, refuse to conform to societal norms, and break free from the chains that seek to define them. While society may push them to fit into roles designed for compliance, they choose authenticity, independence, and purpose. Being a Sigma female means embracing the discomfort that comes with disrupting the illusion of control and power. It means standing tall in a world that tries to box you in, to manipulate your choices and limit your freedom. But it also means living a life that aligns with your values, regardless of the criticism or resistance. You are not here to be liked, to please everyone, or to compromise your truth. Your strength lies in your ability to navigate the world with clarity and confidence. You don't need validation from others to feel complete. You are enough. So as you continue to move through a world that may not always understand or accept you, remember that your journey is yours alone. Embrace the uncomfortable moments, the ones where people may hate you for not fitting into their expectations, because those moments are signs of your growth and authenticity. Stay true to yourself. Stand firm in your beliefs and never apologize for being exactly who you are. The world may resist, but you are a force that can't be controlled or manipulated. Keep walking your path and know that with each step, you are making space for others to do the same. Take care and see you in our next video. God bless.